What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Got a little bit of news regarding Terrence Crawford and Kell Brook. Got some news on that. Bob Arum told Michael Benson that Kell Brook versus Terrence Crawford could happen in the UK later this year. That's going to be very interesting if that fight's made in the UK, because you notice after the Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan fight in New York, that Brook, Terrence Crawford's manager, said when they brought up the subject of Terrence Crawford maybe fighting Kell Brook in UK, he was like, no, he's gonna fight. He's gonna tell him to bring his ass to the US. We're gonna fight him in the US. You know, he said Amir Khan fought him in the U.S. Kell Brook can bring his ass and fight him in the U.S. As I paraphrase Brook. That's basically what he said. So it's going to be interesting to see what Brook thinks about this. But Bob Arum told Michael Benson tweeted this out, not too long ago, that Bob Arum is looking to make that fight in the UK later this year. Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook. Maybe they fight in the same stadium that Kell Brook fought Errol Spence. That fight I think did around 30,000. And wherever that place that was, they had that in. I think it was in Kell Brook's hometown of Sheffield, England. I think that fight was in Sheffield, England, in one of those stadiums. I don't know if it was one of those soccer stadiums or one of those horse race stadiums or whatever. But they had that fight. They had that fight, and it drew a good crowd out there. So I think it was close to sellout crowd of around 32,000. I think was there for that fight. That was a fight for the Kell Brook's IBF welterweight championship. Errol Spence was the #1 mandatory for that fight. So it's real interesting news, man. I just wanted to break that news to you that Bob Arum is looking to make Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook in the UK later this year. He'll be speaking with Eddie Hearn, and they'll be negotiating that fight, and they want that fight to be in the UK. You notice Terrence Crawford's last fight with Amir Khan is rumored to only do 150,000 pay-per-view buys. So maybe they're looking to maybe do a fight in the UK where it's going to draw a bigger crowd. I think the fight, I don't think the fight even sold out in the Madison Square Garden. I think they had a good crowd there, but it wasn't a sellout. So this fight against Kell Brook, more likely will have a huge crowd, and if it's not a sellout, it'll be a near sellout, especially if they have it in the same stadium they had the fight between Kell Brook and Errol Spence. So it'll be interesting to see, man. He's talking about taking Terrence Crawford to UK and putting on a big fight and staging it in the UK. We'll see what happens. And right now Bob Arum is already negotiating with Eddie Hearn for Vasily Lomachenko to go to the UK and fight Luke Campbell for the WBC title. So it's interesting to see that Bob Arum is looking to take his two biggest stars on the top rank and taking them overseas, as both of their last fights were, probably disappointing if you look at the numbers. Lomachenko, he fought in LA in a forum, and that fight did not sell out either. It didn't have a lot of buzz till maybe around about the last 2 days leading up to the fight. A lot of people was talking about Lomo, pound for pound fighter. It's a good chance to see greatness and stuff like that. So people kind of talked about it the last 2 days leading up to the fight, but didn't really have any buzz before then. So, I don't know what kind of they didn't release the ratings of the fight or what the numbers. It was on ESPN Plus. They never released the views for that fight. So I don't know. Maybe it might have been disappointing, man. If Top Rank don't release those numbers, it's usually because the numbers did not live up to what they were thinking the number was going to be. It fell short of the goal that they set out. So we'll see what happens, man. Same thing with Terrence Crawford, man. They actually, Top Rank never actually released the official pay-per-view numbers, but industry sources have said that the fight did around 150,000. So maybe he's looking to take his two biggest stars and cash in on the rich fan craze UK market. People that they love boxing, especially if they one their own is fighting. Even if one their own are huge underdogs, like Luke Campbell will be against Vasily Lomachenko. They will come out in huge numbers to support Luke Campbell. Same thing with Kell Brook. Even though to me he's not the same fighter he was 2 or 3 years ago, he still has a huge base of support in the UK, and they'll be coming out in big numbers for him to fight Terrence Crawford. You know, arguably the #1 pound-for-pound fighter right now. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, man. But again, breaking news: Bob Arum is looking to stage Terrence Bud Crawford versus Kell Brook in the UK later this year. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.